Hey, patrons, little bonus Q&A just for you. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for being here. It means a lot to me. My name is Ashley Clements, and this is the special patron look back diaries. Bing is in this Q&A, which I guess it's his turn because nobody but Lizzie is in more than one Q&A. We start with the obvious people, the original main cast. We go to Netherfield, we pop Caroline in. That makes sense, right? She has her very temporary Beau Wickham in. I think we buy that, Mr. Collins would kind of elbow his way in. And, she was becoming friends with Gigi. And now I feel like this is the most improbable one. Now the man who has come to pursue her sister is going to be in the video. How did we sell that? How did we do it? Let's find out. This would have been the first episode we filmed that day. Because if we started an episode with me and a male character, they didn't get any hair and makeup. So it meant we were able to start shooting faster, while it would have been Laura going through makeup, because then we shot the ones with Laura and Christopher, and then just me and Laura, and then we added Mary Kate. As I've said, we ended crying. So let's see. Oh, right, because we established early on that Lizzie used to play tennis. This is me playing tennis. This is how good I am. Right, we just, that's from that same day. Ghirardelli Square is right around there. Good chocolate. Uh-huh, That is because we made it super vague, and that website used to be a really cute, in-world website before they changed the real company to be named after the fake company, which is confusing. I feel like we've made all these jokes before. Random, yep. Sometimes you do that. Such a strange question. A little judgy there. Though that type of thing is usually me just not knowing how to say something and having fun with it. Oh, hello. Surprise. You brought another gift? Are they more cookies? Did you clear that with Jane? Did you text Jane? Did you? Okay. Good. Communication is... How could her mom not know about them here? That's the thing. Now she's in the middle of the house. Cry about them? Did she cry over the cookies? But you're right. You're learning. You'll go ask her. Good job. What's in that bag? Show us what's in that bag. We don't know. Mystery. Yeah, because there'll be one more Q&A. So you should ask me, why? They said they were going to be friends and take it slow and stuff. So, why is it weird? Probably because of their mom. Probably, right? Because their mom would be like, "Are you going to propose to Jane?" That's not the Mama Bennett voice. "Are you gonna propose to Jane?" It's been 10 years. And let's go ahead and take a look at those comments. Rachel Kate, no, never mind. I'll ask her myself. He's taking the initiative to, 1, let Jane know he's interested, and 2, not listen to what other people say about Jane, but to ask her himself. And then a little smiley face, because yes, and this is a place where we are able to show, not tell that. We are showing that Bing is catching himself making old mistakes and readjusting to make better choices. Good for Bing, yay! Short and formal, latching onto a question I spoke over. How important do you think first impressions are? First impressions was, of course, the early working title of Pride and Prejudice. Less so now. She meets Darcy! She meets Darcy! Yeah, probably we meant to do that. Aaron says he's so proud of himself when he says he called again, and I'm so proud of him when he stops asking like the cookies and decides to ask her himself. Our little boy is growing up and doing better. Gracie Roberts. Bing keeps almost saying, "Hey Charlotte" at the camera. Bless. Yeah, he's learning, but he is still just a real sweet bean, but like maybe not brains forward, just a lot of heart, a lot of muscles, pretty face. Okay, a bunch of these comments are saying that Fitz and Gigi used the code names Tiger and Eagle. So that's what those comments were referencing, which makes more sense. Alrighty. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say about Q&As? Q&As were kind of just this way to make people feel interactive. Likewise with you, but I haven't gotten a lot of questions, so I'm gonna tell stories. I am currently planning, unless something comes up that I can't reschedule, but I am currently planning on doing our final Q&A live, which I know won't be the best time for everyone because it'll be 9 a.m. Pacific time on a Thursday, but that's when these post because I'm doing a thing. It's the exact 10-year anniversary. But because of that, please send in questions beforehand, but also if you can join live, we will chat as we wind down. But to answer one frequent question, I will be doing the follow-up episodes, the episodes that came out a year later to promote the book. And I was also thinking about doing a few other follow-up episodes about things that happened after the end of the show, but were very much related to the show, like conventions and Emmys and things like that. And we can talk about the Kickstarter if you like. So let me know if those things interest you because I aim to please. But in this case, I'm going to talk about the second award show that we went to. And this was very different than going to the IAW TV Awards in January because we were only nominated for one award. Most of the cast and crew did not attend. They were in Las Vegas, so it was like a hassle to go. These were in Hollywood at the Palladium, which is apparently a music venue, but I've only been there for the Streamies. This was the third annual Streamies, which is a funny name because they had not at that point happened every year. And the fourth Streamies didn't happen until like a year and 10 months later or something like that. So, it was an early new award show for a new medium, which was the internet, but more specifically, when it started, really the kind of independent creator. There were absolutely some legitimately famous people nominated there, but also me. So at the Streamies, we were nominated for several awards. Unlike acting awards, there were no supporting categories. So all four of the main girls, I believe, women, were submitted for Best Female Performance in a Comedy Series. Julia and I were both nominated in the Best Female Performance in a Comedy category. The winner of that category ended up being Hannah Hart for My Drunk Kitchen. So you can see how that became like a weird category. Like there was Best Female Performance in a Drama, and that was all scripted acting content, not vlogs. So now I have utilized the internet to tell you what we were nominated for. Best Comedy Series, Best Interactive Program, which we won, just as we had won that at the IW TV Awards. And spoiler alert, we would later that year win at the Emmys. Awards. Bernie won for writing in a comedy series. Yes. So the best female performance, as I said, me and Julia were nominated, and then Hannah Hart won. Kristen Bell was also nominated, and so was Alessandra Torresani. We were also nominated for Best Ensemble Cast. Now we're at 6 nominations from whatever committee existed, the nominating body. And then we were also nominated for 2 Audience Choice Awards. So Audience Choice Award for Series of the Year we were nominated for, which we did not win. We didn't win any of the Audience Choice Awards. And then I was also nominated for Personality of the Year Audience Choice Award, which I found so surprising that I felt like it must have been kind of manipulated internally. But the fact of the matter is, this show was very popular, and also so were, amongst many other people, Mary-Kate and Bernie. So I guess the LBD fans were just, I mean, we know they were very online and very involved. So I guess they made that happen. But that's a lot of nominations. And so we had a lot of tickets as a full team, and we each also had +1s. And also, Julia wasn't available, so we had 2 extra tickets, and so that's how we managed to get a lot of the cast there, most of the cast, but those of us who were nominated plus a +1, we sat in different places than some of our extra tickets, so we weren't all sitting together. And then they also had me present, which makes sense given the popularity of the show at the time and just how many nominations we were nominated for. And I was told in advance that I would be presenting with George Takei. Like, what? Pinch me, George Takei. So we did the red carpet. Those of us who were nominated, it's like a whole process. And I'm sure that this was just like a baby version of a bigger award show. But those of us who were nominated, there was like a person managing the red carpet, and you're on a list, and they like send you down, and people like whisper your name down the line so that all the photographers can write down your name, so that when it goes up on Getty Images, they have your name attached to it, and you just like stand and pose, and they all shout your name because they want you looking at their camera and there's a lot of them. So you're like, and it was hard even to get the full cast together because there wasn't a slot for that on the red carpet, and technically no one other than Julia, Bernie, and I were on the red carpet list. So we definitely were just like, just give us a minute, and like got one of all of us and then took more pictures off the red carpet, just sort of like behind the Palladium. I mean, the red carpet was like set up in the parking lot of the Palladium. Oh, let's see. I had to get there early to rehearse presenting and like learn where I was going to go, like where to enter and exit. But George Takei was not there for that. So they were basically like, you will guide George Takei. And I was like, yeah, sure, I will. And then I saw George Takei. He had just come off the red carpet and we were all about to go in, but there was no rush at that point. And I knew I was about to meet him. So I went up to him and said, hi, I'm Ashley Clemens. I'm presenting with you. And he said, oh, Ashley, it's so nice to meet you. I've heard that you worked at the Old Globe. That's where I went to grad school. It's a theater in San Diego that also has an MFA program. And he, at the time, had just done the pre-Broadway tryout of his musical Allegiance at the Old Globe, and I knew that. But what this meant was that he asked, I'm sure like an assistant, to look up the person he was presenting with and find something that he could talk to them about, which just is like such a good, cool thing for someone that famous to do. Like, he very much did not need to do that. And I just think that's a very cool Hollywood story that he was like, I know a thing about you. But Sophie said, I heard that you worked at the Old Globe. I just did my musical Allegiance at the Old Globe. And I said, I know, congrats. And then, we parted and said, I'll see you backstage. And then someone came to get us out of our seats when it was time and take us backstage with plenty of time beforehand. And he said, do you know where we're going? And I said, yes, I know. So I will be able to guide us through, and, told him the basics of what we were doing, which was basically just, we're going to walk out of here to the mic on that side of the stage. And then we're going to read off the teleprompter, and then you will open the envelope because you weren't a fancy man, and then we will leave. And then we had more time to kill. And I didn't want to be like a nerd and nerd out. And so I was just, chilling. I did ask for a picture. It came out extremely poorly because there was poor lighting, and also it was an iPhone 4. And then after a moment of silence, he said, did you like working at the Old Globe? And I said, yes, I went to graduate school there. So I was there for 2 years, and I was in, a dozen shows, and it was just the most magical time. And he said, oh, wonderful. I also enjoyed working at the Old Globe. Like, I had caught him early and used up his one talking point. It was precious, it was magical, wouldn't have changed a thing, and it all just felt so fancy. I mean, it really did. The Streamies were trying very hard to be a fancy Los Angeles award show, and it felt really cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, George Takei and Ashley Clemens.
It is such an honor for me to present this award for Best Action or Sci-Fi Series with George, a man who starred in arguably the greatest sci-fi series of all time.
Thank you, Ashley. Tonight's nominees have produced amazing, mind-blowing entertainment. Of course, they have advantages that we didn't have on Star Trek.
Oh, not having to deal with studio executives and networks?
Of course, and not having to deal with Bill Shatner.